Live from Utah's first TV station, ABC4 News at 10 starts now.
Hello everyone, I'm Jared Jotnany in for Nick McGurk. Now to the latest COVID-19 numbers. Statewide, the Utah Department of Health is reporting 2 new deaths, bringing the state total to 27. The 2 deaths were Salt Lake County residents. One was a woman, the other a man. Both were over the age of 85 and had been living in a long-term care facility before their deaths. Both had underlying health issues. As of this afternoon, there are now more than 3,000 cases. More than 62,000 people have been tested and 259 people have been hospitalized. We're learning one of those deaths is senior missionary elder Alan D. Pace. Pace was 68 years old. His family says he died yesterday from complications of COVID-19. Now here at ABC4 News, we are taking COVID-19 very serious. We're taking every step possible to make sure our crews are safe. You may notice I'm filling in for Nick McGurk tonight. He did recently undergo testing for COVID-19, and as we're waiting for his results, ABC4's Jordan Verdadero joins us live with more on his experience. Jordan.
Yeah, some of you at home are probably wondering what it's like to get tested, and Nick documented that for us. And he's home taking precautions, since we're all taking that very seriously, until he's either quarantined or cleared.
They stuck up this swab. It was really skinny. And they had to leave it there for a few seconds. And it was profoundly uncomfortable.
Symptoms can vary for those who may be diagnosed with COVID-19. For Nick, his muscles felt sore and his feet were extremely cold.
I can tell things feel different today, and given the current climate, I figure, let's do this.
So he goes to a drive-up site like this one on Saturday after calling the COVID-19 hotline to find out how to get tested.
People in what look like moon spacesuits who are coming up to your vehicles to test you.
Nick says the doctors told him the test will take up to 3 days to get results and he should stay home and isolate while waiting. If you're feeling sick, make sure to contact your healthcare provider and try to use telehealth if possible to prevent the spread. Now, there are 27 COVID-related deaths in the state and over 600 people who have recovered. And if you feel like you have those symptoms, you can go to coronavirus.utah.gov or you can go to our website, abc4.com, for that link as well. Reporting in Salt Lake City, I'm Jordan Verdadero, ABC4 News.
All right, thanks, Jordan. We want to make it very clear that we are still waiting for Nick's test results, and he has been away from the majority of us here at ABC4 News as we are taking steps to social distance. Now, the parameters for testing have now opened up to include anyone who may be having symptoms with or without a doctor's note. Meanwhile, the COVID-19 Community Task Force is asking folks who have recovered and would like to participate in antibody testing to reach out to their providers. Now, nationwide, there are more than 761,000 confirmed cases, more than 35,000 people have died, and over 70,000 people have recovered. All right, President Trump says lawmakers are close to a deal on a second round of stimulus money for the millions of Americans impacted by stay-at-home orders. This as protesters take to the streets in several states demanding their states reopen. ABC4's Andrew Dimbert has the latest.
President Trump beginning Sunday's briefing with some good news for the millions of Americans out of work amid the COVID-19 pandemic.
We're continuing to negotiate with the Democrats to get our great workers and small businesses all over the country taken care of. I think we're getting close to a deal. Could happen. Could happen. A lot of good work has been going on.
The stay-at-home orders taking a devastating toll on the economy. Protesters in Colorado calling on the governor to reopen their state.
So the coronavirus is very real, it's very scary, and it's affecting a lot of families, and it's very tragic. But the means that we are implementing are not justifying the ends.
Similar protests in California, Florida, Texas, and Washington. Michigan's economy hit particularly hard. Reports indicate a quarter of the state's workers have filed for unemployment.
I'm the one that puts a roof over my head. I'm the one that gets my own groceries and stuff. And if I don't have an income, how am I supposed to do this?
In New York, the epicenter of the U.S. outbreak, signs the curve is starting to go down.
We controlled the beast. We apexed, we plateaued, it's coming down the other side. But the beast is still alive.
With more than 36,000 confirmed cases in Massachusetts, the state has now had more than 100 deaths a day for the past 5 days.
We're right in the middle of the surge now.
Mayor Walsh has declared a public health emergency in the city of Boston.
Police in Boston using sound trucks to relay messages, urging everyone to stay home. And governors of Virginia and Maryland saying their states are still bracing for the peak. Many experts say testing is the key to reopening, the president shifting focus on the lack of testing to the states.
You must remember that the governors wanted to have total control over the opening of their states, but now they want to have us, the federal government, do the testing. And again, testing is local.
Adding the governors can't have it both ways. Andrew Dimbert, ABC News, Washington.
All right, now across the globe, more than 2.4 million people are now confirmed to have the virus. More than 624,000 people have recovered. However, more than 165,000 people have died from the respiratory illness. The Prime Minister of France, Eduardo Philippe, says the country is past the peak of the COVID-19 coronavirus pandemic. According to authorities, the total death toll in France is now more than 19,000. Prime Minister Philippe says the number of patients in the ICU has decreased day after day since reaching the peak. Meanwhile, in North America, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau says it'll be a slow process reopening the country.
We're going to have to be very, very careful, very gradual, very progressive if we are to prevent the kind of resurgence that would send us all back into lockdown as we were before.
Lots of uncertainty there. Canada has roughly 35,000 confirmed cases and more than 1,500 deaths as a result of COVID-19. Today, the Navajo Nation announced 70 new cases of COVID-19, bringing the confirmed positive test numbers to more than 100,000. 44 people have died, no new deaths to report. Now let's break down those numbers. Navajo Nation spans 3 states, including Arizona, New Mexico, and Utah. In total, Arizona's Navajo Nation has seen 714 cases. New Mexico, 469. Utah has seen 14. The Navajo Nation remains under a mandatory curfew order until at least tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. In addition to the mandatory curfew, Navajo Nation also issued an order requiring all residents to wear protective masks while out in public. COVID-19 is hitting the Navajo Nation particularly hard. The largest ICU unit in the Navajo Nation is located in Gallup, New Mexico, and has just over 6 rooms. When those rooms are full, people become critically ill or need procedures that cannot be performed. There are often flown 130 miles to Albuquerque, which can be risky.
The Navajo people live between 4 sacred mountains, and in general, people prefer to stay in this area. They're basically their homeland.
And much of those staff there you're seeing speak Navajo as well. Also of concern is the lack of personal protective equipment for doctors and nurses taking care of patients on the front lines. Last month's $2 trillion stimulus package included $500 million for Indian affairs and $8 billion for tribes. But community leaders say it isn't enough to meet supply shortages and infrastructure shortcomings like broadband, internet, and drinking water. All right, let's get a first look at the forecast. Meteorologist Adam Carroll standing by with a little bit of clouds there behind you. Adam?
That's right, yeah. We did have a little bit of activity here across northern Utah, but most of it stayed across central and southern Utah. And you can kind of see what it looked like here today for a time frame, especially in the early part of the afternoon, as a little cell kind of came through the central and southern portions of the Salt Lake Valley and really dropped a few, I guess, hundredths of an inch of rain across this area. And you also heard some rumbles of thunder as well to go with it. But we're still seeing kind of a deck of clouds from about Salt Lake to about Cedar City over to Blanding, Moab right now. And this is all kind of moving from a west to east direction, though we're starting to see break up in those clouds across northern Utah even more so. But we still have a round of showers and thunder showers here that's continuing to move from west to east, high elevation snow. So Cedar City right now, you're seeing the rain showers, and looks like St. George, you may actually get wet here for a quick period of time here this evening. We'll break that down even more so here in the full forecast, but because of the ongoing storms here right now across this portion of the state. We still have a general threat of thunderstorms going from St. George all the way up to the Nephi area and over to Ely here until about 3 a.m. But if you're planning your day tomorrow working from home, expect mid-60s for those daytime highs with partly cloudy skies in the afternoon, Jared.
All right, Adam, we'll take the mid-60s. Thank you. Now, the Department of Public Safety says wireless Amber Alerts are now on hold. This after a glitch in an early morning Amber Alert for missing 4-year-old Erilyn Crow. Crow has now been located and her mother is behind bars, but the initial alert asking the public for help locating Crow did not have any information on it. DPS says there have been similar past issues.
3 different things that we have been working on over time and will continue to make improvements into the system. And our overall goal is to provide a system that Utahns can have confidence in, and they can know that when they're getting an alert, they can trust that that's an alert they can do something about.
DPS says no timeline as to when the system will be back up and running. All right, Oklahoma City remembering the tragic events of April 19th, 1995, when a bomb went off at the Alfred P. Murrah building, leaving 168 dead. Among the lives lost, 19 children. But amid the COVID-19 pandemic, the memorial taking place virtually. Here's ABC Zachary Quiche with the details of today's somber remembrance.
On the 25th anniversary of the Oklahoma City bombing, the coronavirus pandemic is changing how the occasion is remembered.
We are grateful to have this unique opportunity to come together as a community, albeit virtually, as we pause to remember.
Instead of a ceremony at the memorial, an hour-long television special that people could watch from the safety of their own homes.
25 years ago, Oklahomans showed the nation and world what it looks like for a community to stand together in faith, neighbor helping neighbor.
168 lives were lost, 19 of them children.
Kayla Marie Titsworth, Dolores D. Stratton.
The 1995 bombing of the Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building stands as the deadliest domestic terrorism attack in our nation's history. The image of firefighter Chris Fields cradling little Bailey Allman came to symbolize the heartbreak and the heroism of that tragic day.
Bailey just represents the innocence that was lost that day.
Bailey had just celebrated her first birthday the day before.
On April 18th, we always go out and have drinks and dinner for Bailey's birthday.
The Oklahoma City National Memorial is empty today.
We'll put flowers on each of the chairs. We'll have a time when everyone can come back to the site.
Families of those lost hoping to come together once again around those 168 chairs, one for each victim. Zachary Quiche, ABC News, New York.
One officer is dead, 2 others critically hurt after a shooting in Texas last night. It happened in San Marcos, Texas, between San Antonio and Austin. Police say the officers were ambushed by the shooter while responding to a domestic violence call at an apartment complex.
We lost a fine young man, a faithful officer and friend last night. Justin Putnam was 31 years old and had been an SMPD officer for 5.5 years.
Police say the suspect died from an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound. The 2 officers that were shot are both in critical but stable condition at a nearby hospital.
Today is a devastating day for Nova Scotia, and it will remain etched in the minds of many for years to come.
A tragic day for Canadians. 17 people are dead after a man disguised as a police officer went on a shooting rampage in the Canadian province of Nova Scotia. A police officer was among those killed. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police say a half-dozen crime scenes are spread across Nova Scotia after the shooter, 51-year-old Gabriel Wortman, shot and killed over a dozen people and set a number of cars on fire. In the rampage, Wortman was among those killed.
What has unfolded overnight and into this morning is incomprehensible, and many families are experiencing the loss of a loved one. That includes our own RCMP family.
Right now, police are unsure of a motive in the attack. Officials say this is one of the deadliest shootings on Canadian soil in 30 years. Coming up, we have your weekly dose of nostalgia. This week, Craig Worth takes a look back at spring fashion. It's fun, a little weird sometimes, but always worth watching.
Plus, looking at a live look outside at downtown Salt Lake City on this quiet night across northern Utah. We still have some storms in our 7-day forecast, but we also have a giant warm-up we've got to talk about next.
All right, welcome back. Spring is when fashion designers release their new lines. However, with no place to go, not even to the workplace for many of us, sweats and old clothes are the fashions of this spring. Our Craig Worth notes all of this in tonight's report. However, our self-proclaimed king of fashion found some entertaining old film clips to remind us when fashion ruled spring. It's worth watching.
So this kind of sums up this year's spring fashions, as a lot of folks are staying at home. Yeah, work at home spring fashions consisting of sweatshirts or maybe even just pajamas. Let's not go this far, men's Frozen themed pajamas. But really, the only folks who will see your fashions are the other squares on a Zoom meeting. Oh, but there was a time before this year's sweatpants. Spring brought big fashion news. We turned back the calendar to a normal spring, such as 1956.
People Will Talk is the name of this gray chiffon flannel and white silk satin number.
Yes, even a faded ad in an 1890 Salt Lake paper told us spring meant fashion, and fashion meant hoop skirts and tennis. Yeah, that would be real easy to wear when playing tennis. This report is all about spring fashion. Now I realize few people know fashion like I know fashion. You know, it's just kind of a part of me, sort of like dotting the I in the word fashion. Oh, but there's a history to it.
The forward-looking design shows our foursome in their prettiest evening clothes, in a modern coach beyond Cinderella's fondest dreams.
Right, a modern car and a big hat. Cool.
And next, an ensemble called Tonight and Every Night. Under the black velvet coat, she wears a festive dress of black.
But spring not only means evenings, it means outdoor fun by day. Now it's not just the international scene. Oh no, there was a lot of fashion here, locally. Yes, the old Walker store had spring openings in 1916, window displays, live models, and even an orchestra every afternoon. Downtown stores used to have a spring fashion show, and huge for 1916, panniers, hoops, and even bustles will be big. Oh, panniers, they're the big hoops that puff out dresses. By the 1930s, it was the Flash Gordon helmet meets the Ben-Hur look. But by the 1950s, it was modern. This old Channel 4 film shows the styles of Utah. But you can see there was a price to pay for fashion, such as a full coat at Penny's for $3. Oh, and a whole outfit was a shocking $11 at the Bon Marché, and $3 only got you 2 dresses at Moto Day, but it was swell and it was modern.
Yes, fashion looks forward for 56.
So take it from me, Mr. Fashion. You know, you might just be working at home and nobody sees you except for all those on Zoom. But remember, spring, it's all about fashion. Craig Worth, ABC4 News.
Time now for Utah's most accurate forecast with Adam Carroll, Weather Rate certified 9 years in a row.
All right, Craig Worth forgot to mention spring look suit with running shoes. Adam.
Well, you know, I have to wear the running shoes because you don't get to see that part of my my outfit here when I'm standing in front of the green screen. And you know what? I love that fact because then I don't have to wear the uncomfortable dress shoes out there. And you know what? It's been that type of weather that it's better to wear those athletic shoes because, like Craig Worth and his outfit, it's springtime and we're seeing those spring-like temperatures finally after a long period of cooler weather. And look at the rain that came in here for a moment across the South Jordan area this afternoon, and it just barely wet the roads. But overall, it still brought in a little activity here to northern Utah. But then the sun came out, and boy, I'll tell you, that sunset from Antelope Island Causeway by Keith was wonderful. 62 was the high temperature in Salt Lake. We forecast 63, so we were right there. 60 in Logan, 58 in Price, 74 in St. George. And boy, I got to tell you, these temperatures are going to go up, up, up after we get past the Thursday time frame. 54 right now in Salt Lake, 43 in Price, 53 in Moab. Even though we do have some wet weather here moving through Cedar City, it's 61, but only 44 in Milford because you have seen some recent rainfall. High-resolution satellite still shows kind of like an area of cloud cover from about Salt Lake to Cedar City and eastward, with it a little bit more thicker here into the Castle Country area, Uinta Basin. But eventually those clouds will move off to the east, but we still have some activity. Look at the nearby lightning strikes here as of recent. And this is why we're still under the gun for some thunderstorms here through midnight, through 2 a.m. And you'll see that eventually on the futurecast. But look at that. The Pine Valley's picking up a recent rainfall here as it moves towards places like outlying areas of St. George and then eventually the hurricane area. And tomorrow we're still going to see a general thunderstorms from Price to Richfield down to Lake Powell and Blanding. So more isolated chances are definitely out there, but look how it hangs around here this evening on Futurecast. 2 a.m. and eventually it moves off to the east. Moab, you might see showers throughout much of the evening. We're seeing the pockets of sunshine and clouds tomorrow, but a lot less in coverage, so it's more isolated out there tomorrow with showers to the west and thunder showers to the east. Then we see our next storm system develop here overnight. Monday night into Tuesday, bringing some scattered showers and thunderstorms to southern and central Utah, and it may creep into the southern Wasatch Front, but then by Wednesday, we're going to start seeing a warm up here across southern Utah, and we'll get to a near 70-degree temperature here across the north, but 66 tomorrow in Salt Lake, also in Provo, 69 in Moab, 59 in Price. And, you know, honestly, we're looking at a pretty nice day up in northern Utah. We will see a mixture of sun and clouds overall, but 50s and 60s here are mainly what you'll see all the way into southern Utah. And, of course, a little bit wetter pattern setting up for the eastern, southeastern side of the state. But St. George stays in the 70s, mid-70s through Tuesday with those scattered thunder showers, and then watch it climb. 90 degrees on Sunday. Now we go from spring to summer in St. George. And by the way, we haven't even been 80 yet this year in St. George. 77 has been the high. 66, 68 with isolated thunder showers on Tuesday in the Wasatch Front. Earth Day on Wednesday is that 70-degree mark for only the second time this year, then cooling off with some storms, and then look at 69 and 78 for the weekend, nearing 80. Well, I got to tell you, Jared, that is some good-looking temperatures.
Yeah, we'll take those upper 60s, low 70s. All right, thanks, Adam. All right, coming up, we introduce you to a company that's beeping to help patients with COVID-19. Doug Jessup explains in this week's Utah Success Story. Welcome back. Former Vice President Joe Biden is the winner of the Wyoming caucuses. Those caucuses took place by mail this year due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Biden got a little more than 72% of the vote, and Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders got the rest. Sanders has suspended his campaign for the Democratic presidential nomination, but he's still collecting delegates. In the battle against COVID-19, healthcare is on the front lines. In tonight's sponsored Utah Success Stories, Doug Jessup gives the details on a Utah company helping one beep at a time.
We've all heard that telltale beep of a barcode being scanned.
What exactly is a barcode?
A barcode is a graphical representation of a bunch of information compacted into a small space.
What you might not know is the important role Utah-based Code Corporation is playing in the COVID-19 pandemic. CEO Kent Hansen explained.
Most countries and hospitals are setting up extensions to their hospitals as triage centers, and they're using our barcode scanners to identify those patients and the samples that are being taken.
How does it work?
We're using the barcodes to identify the person and to identify the sample, and then once that sample's taken, it goes back to a lab where again you track that sample using a barcode. Our barcode scanners are being used throughout that whole process, not only here in Utah, but throughout the world right now.
According to Code Corporation's Jenna Buck, they built their first scanner in 2001.
Our original barcode scanner was made to read magazines. Since then, we've evolved into a much larger variety of barcode scanners.
They've come a long way as both a hardware and a software company.
We really want to focus on the medical environment. We started to move towards a variety of scanners that would fit into nurses' hands. Form, fit, and function started to change so that they were ergonomically comfortable for people to use.
How does scanning equipment hold up to all that heavy-duty cleaning in a hospital?
We've developed this special plastic called Code Shield, which stands up to the disinfectant, all the harsh chemicals that are used in the medical industry and in the hospitals.
They're also the company that started something called mobile soft scanning.
That's when companies and people can use their actual cell phones to do barcode reading.
It's amazing to see a Utah company making a difference worldwide.
We have over 1 million scanners that we've shipped out into the marketplace.
That's a lot of scanners.
It's a lot of scanners.
Scanning the world with another Utah success story. I'm Doug Jessup, ABC4 News.
Wow, interesting. Now, to see more success stories or to nominate a company for Doug to profile, go to abc4.com/success. Now let's check in with Wesley Ruff for a look at what's coming up in sports.
Some basketball experts weigh in on what the future of the NBA may hold, and we're going to take you back in time to when Utah Jazz guard Jeff Hornacek attacked me, then went out and played a great game. Sports is coming up next.
Time now for ABC4 News Sports with Wesley Ruff.
Now the sports world continues to be shut down, but there are signs that things could be changing. No one can agree if or when the sports will start up again, and no one knows what it will look like if it does come back.
I never thought in my lifetime we would be without sports. I've been through 9/11. That's probably the worst thing I've been through in my life, but I never thought we could never play sports.
It seems like, with things that are coming out, like with the 25-day plan of when we could return or what will happen once we get the green light to return, it makes it feel as if a plan is slowly coming in place and that we are headed in the right direction.
I hope so, but we're going to do what's best for everybody. I mean, it's going to be safety first, and we'll defer to scientists and the doctors. I mean, there's nothing else we can do.
Well, I got to tell you something. It's going to be a long time before things are normal. Even when we get back to playing sports, fans are not going to be allowed in the stadiums or the arenas. But man, it's going to be a long time before fans are able to come to games again.
Well, it's time to check in on what the Utah Jazz were doing on this date in history. April 19th, 1998, the Jazz were in Los Angeles to take on the Lakers. Kobe Bryant with a dunk. Then the big fella, Shaquille O'Neal, flying through the lane on his way to 33 points. End of the game, Jazz were down. Hornacek misses the three-pointer. Malone gets the putback, but it was too little too late. The Jazz lose by 4. 2009, the Jazz were back in Los Angeles to take on the Lakers again, this time in the playoffs. Game 1 of the first round, Carlos Boozer led Utah with 27 points. But the Lakers led by that guy, Kobe Bryant, who blows by Kyle Korver. He scored 24 points. Lakers won the game 113-100 to take a 1-0 lead in the series. And the next year, 2010, the Jazz were taking on Denver in the playoffs. D. Will led the Jazz with 33 points, 14 assists. Carlos Boozer had 20 points and 15 rebounds. And Kyle Korver hit a three-pointer with 90 seconds left to put the Jazz up, and they would go on to win it 114-111. That evened up the series at a game apiece. And back in 1997, the Jazz were playing the LA Clippers in the first round of the playoffs. Utah Jazz guard Jeff Hornacek got off to a horrible start in the first 2 games. I asked him about it at practice. He choked me. I lost my voice later that day, and it made for a great story.
Yesterday morning at Jazz practice, I asked Jeff Hornacek about his shooting. He was 5 for 18 in the first 2 games. That question apparently touched a nerve.
Slapping. Wait, what was? Didn't I just read a story about a guy grabbing the guy by the throat?
Yeah, go ahead. You can do that. Last night, with my question apparently still fresh on his mind, Hornacek came out and hit his first 7 shots. He ended up hitting 9 out of 12 and scored a game-high 28 points. Afterwards, I asked about his shooting again. We're going to have to a great start shooting tonight. What was that all about?
Did I hurt your neck that much?
Yes, you did. Is that going to be a new pregame ritual for you?
Yeah. Can I do that every? I'll get harder and harder every time too.
Well, if it helps you shoot that well, we'll go for it.
Well, I think I looked at the first 2 games and just realized that a little hesitant on shooting the shot. I tried to drive it too close. I went into tonight's game just saying that when the pass comes, just catch it and fire.
So you hit your first 6, 7 shots in a row, and you think, I can't wait till postgame so I can tell you Wes, A in your face.
I thought that after. No, I actually I didn't think about that at all.
Well, that hurts.
You could see that he was ready to play, and he certainly didn't want this to go any longer than it had to, and he was just tremendous. Made big shot after big shot.
In Los Angeles, Wesley, I'll do anything to help out Ruff. News for Utah Sports.
And that is called reporter involvement. Just doing my part to help the Utah Jazz get a victory. We'll be right back.
All right, welcome back. Adam Carroll joins us now with a big warm-up towards the middle of next week.
Oh, you're telling me, Jared, this is something that we've been all waiting for, and look at what we're going to see here. We'll start in St. George. So we'll start off with sun and clouds here over the next couple of days. Tuesday brings a little round of wet weather, and then the sun comes out to play, and it stays that way all the way through next weekend. And we're going to go from the first 80 to the first 90 here in just a couple of days from Wednesday all the way to Sunday. So we'll go from spring to summer quickly. For the Salt Lake City area, we'll go into the mid-60s here for the next couple of days. We'll start off with some sun and clouds. We'll get to the 70-degree mark for the second time on Wednesday. A drop in temperatures due to some unsettled weather and some storminess, and then a huge boost in temperatures here as we head into the weekend with more sun and cloud cover. But it also looks to be the actual warmest days that we've seen yet this year. 70's been, we've seen it once, but now we're going to be pushing near 80 next Sunday.
All that behind you, Adam, looks very exciting.
Excellent.
Thank you. All right, coming up, Utah first responders help with a very important rescue. More on that just ahead. All right, well, we leave you with this. This afternoon, troopers and Murray City firefighters made a quacktastic rescue of some baby ducklings. The baby ducks were disrupting traffic on I-15 northbound at 4700 South in Murray. Corporal Pollard was dispatched and was able to get the ducklings out safely. He corralled them away from traffic and onto the other side of the freeway barrier. One of the ducklings fell into the storm drain and required the assistance from Murray City's fire department, but was soon reunited with his siblings. How sweet is that? Well, that's all for us tonight. Remember, you can always find the latest news and weather online at ABC4.com. Stick around. Real Sports Live starts right now.